Hello everyone. I'm talking about access matrix today. Access matrix is a security model of protection state in computer. There are two main things. That is domain and objects. Objects are in column and domains are in row. That is represented by di and oj. Object is oj. Uh, each cell each cell are given to the process of the domain. Each entity defines a set of operations that a process executing in domain di can invoke an object oj. Okay. Different type of rights. There are different type of rights that are and that is read, write, and execute and print. The read right. This is the right given to the process in domain which allows it to read the file. It always reads the file. And the second one is write. Process in domain can write into the file. And this write can write into the file. Execute. Process in domain can execute the file. As you can see, it is clear, I think. Print. Process in domain only has access to the printer. Mm, and there are one main thing. There is a common, there is a combination of rights mentioned in this, and that is a read write. How access metric works? As you can see the table, I previously mentioned that this is a domain and these are objects. Okay, and these are the observations that I'll tell you about that. The domain, the if a process is executing in D1. Let's suppose a process is executing in D1, and that will read the object F1. Okay, and F3 also. D2 in in a process is executing in a process can accessed by only one process executing in domain D2. Okay, and D3 is similar like that. The domain D3 can read the file F2 and execute the file F3. It has a similar thing that I tell about D1, but it execute this time. And D4 is nothing but the combination of writes, read write, and the D4 read write F1 and F3 also. Mechanism of access matrix. A process executing in domain DI can access only these objects that are specified in row I. That I tell previously, the domain is travel like a row like this, as you can see that. Uh, Policies of access matrix concerned protection involve which right should be included in the IJ entry. Okay, we must also decide the domain in which each process executes. The user can give also these things. The user decide the context of the access matrix entry. The user gives the writes and reads also these. Define the control for this association between domain and processes. Implementation of access matrix. This is the main concept of the access matrix, which is implementation. There are four type of implementation, and I tell these things theoretically now. First is global table, and second is access control matrix, and third is capability list for domains, and the fourth is a lock key mechanism. And I'll tell you the global table here. Each it is similar like access matrix, but it is different in representation. Each cell has a domain, object, and rights. Each cell has domain, object, and right. I think this is clear to all of you. D1 reads F2, and this is the implementation of access matrix is represented by this is a representation of the global table. First we use the domain, and second we use the object, and the third we use the right set. That this is the right set. The read, write, execute, and something. These are the rights. Okay. In this table, we can represent this read as a D1, F2, F2, and read. This is the representation of global matrix. The second one is access list for objects. Each column represented as an access list for an object. Here the concept is in only for the column. This is the column F1, F2, and F3. Let's suppose there are three domain D1, D2, and D3, and the objects F1, F2, and F3. And is access control list. Sorry. Is a list of permission attached to an object that specify which objects or system entries are granted access to the object and what operations are allowed on the object. The representation, these lines are saying just the representation of this, and the representation of this is this object fi, and this is nothing but the read granted access that the user gives and the system gives. Granted access, read, write, and write. In this table, we can represent this table like this: object F1, and in this column we can see the right only. And nothing is there D1 in this part and this part. So that's why we are writing right. Object F2, and we traverse like this: read and write. Because this is blank and nothing is there, that's why we are not writing anything. Read and write, read comma write. Object F3, this is D2. No, we don't see this. We also see this, the column. We also traverse in the column F3, read write. This is the granted access. Implementation of access matrix capability list for domains. This is the third one, the capability lists for domains. Each row says about the capability of domains. Each row, this time we will traverse in the row only. We will see the row only. As the previous one, we will see, we saw that that is in column, and now the capability list for domains. Domain is nothing but this. These are the domains, and we will traverse in row only. The representation of this is domain di. These D1, D2, and D3. Granted access is nothing but these. In this table, it can be represented by domain D1, and we will traverse like this, and we see the access granted access is read. That's why we use read. Domain D2 write, rewrite, because as you saw that, and domain D3 write. Okay. And the implementation of access matrix is the third part. Sorry, the fourth part, a lock key mechanism. The lock key mechanism compares between access list and capability list. As we, as I taught about access list and the capability list. Access list is drivers in column, and capability list is drivers in rows only. The each object has a list unique bit pattern called lock. The where's the object has a list. This is the main part, and similarly in the domain has a list unique bit pattern called keys. That's why it is called lock key mechanism. Thank you. This is all about the access matrix that I taught about. Okay. Thank you.